Hey, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here, and I'm swinging by the Geekcast Radio Network.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1 Mike and the rest of the comic reading crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, IDW, Boom Studios, Zenoscope, and more, we have everything you want to read right here. Transformers comics? Yeah, we cover that. He-Man? Yeah, sure. DC superheroes like Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Batman Beyond? Yep, we have those too. How about TMNT from IDW and I Hate Fairyland from Image Comics? Yeah, we have all that here. Plus, so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So without any further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we are reading right now here inside the pull bag.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is episode 376. Yes, folks, we are not yet, we promise. But things are happening, and you'll hear all about that in a couple of weeks. December 377. I'm, of course, TFG1 Mike. Joining me is Ryan the Spider-Man Markley. I don't know.
Wow. And I'm supposed to be the tired one.
Exactly. Hey, I'm moving.
Wow, I thought you were going to save that for 2 weeks. Anyway.
Well, that's true, but I've already mentioned it in one of the shows, so sorry. So yes, we are back. And because of what Karen and I are doing, because we're moving and whatever else, the pull bag's year-end plans have kind of gone up in the air. Originally, this was supposed to be episode 3. It's supposed to be what it was. We're going to be covering Edge of Spider-Verse. My goal for 2019 was to get the podcast to 380 episodes. Sadly, that's not going to happen. Spider-Verse will have to happen next year in 2020. And it's funny that we're talking about spiders and Spider-Men and Spider-Women and Spider-Hams, whatever other kind of monster spiders you want to talk about, because today, as of this recording, November 19th, is the 25th anniversary of Spider-Man, the animated series from 1984. No, I didn't.
Never heard of it.
Oh, stop. You know better.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I realized that as soon as they said it. Oops, anyway.
It's out of order, but it's there.
Yeah, to be fair, all their shows are out of order, so... It's very odd. Wait till you see the X-Men animated series if you haven't already.
I've looked at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't know. They got a lot of issues, but it's nice to have it there. But yeah, everything's bare bones and needs work.
Okay, yes, the episodes are out of order. Yada yada yada. Yes, The Simpsons is screwed up, but to be fair, Fox screwed up The Simpsons. Fox. But, you know, at least it's there. At least we can watch it. I think there's like 1 or 2 episodes of Spider-Man, the animated series, that are out of order. There might be more, but I only know 2. And it's not that bad, because again, it's there.
Yeah, because it got pulled from I can't remember if it was on Netflix US. I rewatched it on Netflix Canada. But even then, there's so much other stuff. You know, you mentioned The Simpsons seasons 1 to 10. It's weird. It just ended at that point and never kept on going as a nightmarish shell of itself. There's stuff like Gargoyles hasn't been compiled since the ancient DVD box sets, which were A, bare bones, and B, never contained the Goliath Chronicles, aka Season 3. And there's a lot of other shows like that, like Darkwing Duck's another one that they had certain episode packages, but never compiled in a season series. So yeah, it's worth it just to have a lot of these, even if it's not necessarily in the best format possible. And hopefully they'll get there. It just kind of sucks that it was released bare bones now, you know, when we've gotten used to Netflix and other streaming services having all these different features, and then you get Disney and it launches with nothing. Like, it can't even tell me what I watched, or I can't pick up where I left off, or...
Well, now, here's the thing. You can pick up where you left off if you pick up at that episode. So if I'm watching...
But you gotta remember what episode you were on, that kind of thing. Like, if you sat there and you just let it go for a while...
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it does have some hiccups, and it does have a few things that...
If you say you watched 6 or 7 episodes of Gargoyles in a row and can't remember where the hell you left off... I know. Anyway. I'm nitpicking.
I know you are. So, the Edge of the Spider-Verse... This is
which sadly is one thing that's not on there. It would be nice if... I know it's Sony production, but Spider-Verse should be... It was fantastic. And... this series has a little to do with it. It sort of does. I mean, so this was a spin-off from the Spider-Verse crossover event, whatever you want to call it, from Marvel that year. And this is a collection of one-shots introducing some of the characters you'd see in that collection. And I shouldn't necessarily say introducing, because the Spider-Man Noir existed years beforehand, during a period of time where they did Wolverine Noir, Punisher Noir, Spider-Man Noir, another one I can't remember. Crap. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this was published in 2016,
anyway.
So it's 2 years old at this point.
Yeah. But the Noir stuff was, I want to say, like 2010? It was a long time ago. Anywho.
So, we got 5 issues here, 5 one-shots as Ryan said. Spider-Man Noir, written by David Pine with Fabrice Oski. The artist and cover is done by Richard Zanold. Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman, writer is Jason Latour. Yeah, I know that guy. I've heard some of his stuff. Robbie Rodriguez is the artist and cover person. Artist is Rick Ramsey. Aaron Aikman, the Spider-Man, is written by Dustin Weaver. I assume, he is the writer, artist, and is Dustin Weaver. I Walk with a Spider, written by Clay McLeod and Chapman. Art is done by Ella Benetti. Color artist is Ron. Cover up with them Brown. Number 5, Spider. Gerard Way, artist is Wyatt, color artist is Mary. Letter is done by BC's Clayton Knowles, Spider Lewis, and Chloe.
What? Why don't we talk about the individual things
4 out of the 5
and then
things,
get into the...
Yes. 4 out of the 5 things I really enjoyed. One of them freaks me the hell out, of course, because I have no idea where that's coming from. Like you said, let's just go ahead and into it.
Man, why does Spider-Gwen scare you so much? Anyway.
No, it's not Spider-Gwen.
So Noir is a continuation, it should be noted, of the Spider-Man Noir story from whatever year that was. Sometime in the 2000s, I can't remember. I'm tired, leave me alone. Anywho. And yeah, so for you, I figure this was the introduction to him?
I've known about him. I've never
but I don't think you had read the original.
The only time I saw him was maybe when John Center Jr. did Spider-Verse back 25 years ago in Spider-Man animated series with the Spider-Clone saga.
I don't remember him being in...
Oh, I'm just saying.
In the series. Anyhow. In any case, this story reimagines most notably Mysterio. And like I said, it's a continuation of Spider-Man and his stories. And I don't know how in depth I want to get into it, but long story short, he, May, and Mary Jane go and see a show, and it's Mysterio. Mysterio is working for the Kingpin, although ultimately, surprise, surprise, with thoughts of overthrowing him. And in an effort to get some of Spider-Man's miraculous blood, they kind of draw him out to the next Mysterio performance, promising they're going to kill the noir version of Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. And I almost said Felicia Day. I'm real tired, apparently. Anywho. And yeah, it does draw out Spider-Man Noir. A fight ensues. He's able to defeat Mysterio, but gets jumped by one of Moreland's family, who are the main overall villain to Spider-Verse. You only get little pieces of each of them. Moreland himself appears in a later one, but there's only little bits, and there's only little bits of the other Spider-Man. However, that's what this closes with. He's rescued by a version of Superior Spider-Man and meets a bunch of them at the end.
I dug this. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was neat. I really liked what they did with Mary Jane, where she is a veteran of the World War, and so she's very different. Mm-hmm. And I like that everybody was different, but everybody is similar enough that it's not that you're not lost by it. And yeah, the Spider-Man Noir just kind of works. He's a superhero that, when you ground him that way, just still works. And part of that too is his villains are fantastic. Like Mysterio is interesting in this. He's a fun villain to have, especially in this time frame. Like the idea of magic / technology, etc. It works really well. And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man always works in all the various formats we're going to see and read through. Well, I shouldn't say always. Anyway. Anyway. He's got great villains. I think next to Batman, Spider-Man has the best villains gallery in all of comic books.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And that's saying something. So and even then, I'd argue it's fairly close. Like, Batman's got the one standout, really, with the Joker, and then after that, he's still got a lot of really fantastic ones. But Spider-Man's just got a lot of really great ones, period.
Between Mysterio, the Goblins, Kingpin, even though Kingpin is really a Daredevil villain, yada yada.
Yeah, he's kind of become, so I'm fine with lumping him in.
Yeah. Hydro Man, Scorpion.
Craven is a great one that's underused.
Yeah,
the Punisher, Rhino. Like, he's got quite a few. Yes, jeez.
So,
I completely missed on that. Anyway, but we didn't mention Doc Ock. But anywho. No, that's...
I would kind of say it's a... I'm trying to think. Between Green Goblin and Doc Ock, it's a toss-up of which of those two would be Spider-Man's Joker. Because
they both have elements, yeah.
Right, well, because Doc Ock, we used to look up to Otto Octavius. And then obviously, Otto Octavius.
This reminds me of how much I like Superior. Anywho, so yeah, this is all why I think this works really well here. And yeah, I like Noir, or Spider-Man Noir anyway. He is one of the Noir universes that I don't mind seeing more of.
Right. Absolutely. I would love to do more of that stuff. Very cool. Moving on to issue number 2 in this, it's Spider-Woman, because they don't actually call her Spider-Gwen, but it is Gwen Stacy as Spider-Woman. And she's in the Mary Jane's band. This feels very Back to the Future to me, this beginning.
Yeah, that's fair. The plot of this is she's being hunted by Captain Stacy, who is, of course, her father. In this version, Peter dies, becoming the Lizard, in an attempt to emulate Gwen and be a hero. And yeah, Daredevil hires, of all people, by the way, Matt Murdock. He appears in a couple of these, and it's just kind of, there were guest appearances I didn't expect, but still kind of work. I'm not sure I'm not sure it works in this one, in that he's looking to get rid. I guess Daredevil's evil in this universe. I don't know. Because I mean, because he's looking to get rid of Captain Stacy to allow her to be a hero. And he thinks he's helping, but it just seems weird for Matt. Anywho, whatever. And in the ensuing melee, she reveals herself to him, and sort of that's when they get into the origin. So she's believed to be the one that killed Peter in this. No, Peter was just trying to be her. And so if you haven't seen the film as well, which does a great job of making you understand why Spider-Gwen would kind of become her own character and kind of be somewhat of a phenomenon, really. Because, I mean, she caught on, and it's interesting to me that we've had multiple Spider-Men catch on.
I think that's good, though. I think.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, especially in our case, because all as we really know in, let's say, the 616 universe is that when Stacy got killed and it was Parker's fault or whatever kind of thing. So having her in a different universe and having her take the mantle, I think, is really good.
Yeah. So a couple of things too I want to mention. I love the art in this. Robbie Rodriguez's work really helps make this feel different and make it kind of come alive. Like, it matches the personality and everything from the punk band to how she's drawn, moving, and the action sequences. It really sells it and helps it a lot. And two, I just like the character. It's interesting. And I mentioned this earlier, that each of these is Peter Parker and Peter's extended cast in different ways that we haven't necessarily seen them before. And holy crap, does this one work well? Because, like you said, Gwen didn't get to do a lot, really. She was kind of a classmate, and then that's about it, really. And I'm not trying to say she wasn't interesting or anything like that. It's just that's basically what all she was known for, is she's the one, Peter tried to save, and she died. And then her kids came in a nightmarishly bad storyline, and anywho.
It's crazy, folks. Spider-Verse has got a lot of things going on, and it's all kinds of crazy.
Like all comic book characters that have run for a long time, there's some real bad Spider-Man stories.
Yep.
Anywho, this was not one of them, though. I liked Gwen in this. I am glad this universe became its own for a little while, too, before she got, merged into the 616. Because it was just, I thought the whole thing was kind of interesting. Like, I mentioned before that this version of Matt Murdock, definitely not my favorite, but I really like the idea of Captain Stacy essentially hunting his daughter.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was wondering if she was going to reveal before the pages had actually revealed. And then I was like, that's so good. That's so interesting.
This might have been the most fun out of the batch, too.
Yeah, I think it was. Issue 3 is Aaron Hickman. Sorry, his brother.
No. I mean, maybe, actually. I don't know. But
So, this is where I'm not disgusted with this, but I was confused as all hell. The way the thing is laid out, the way the story is told, I like the story. It's confusing to me at first. And then I finally got it, and I'm like, that's interesting.
This one was the most, kind of in-depth individual story, even though it takes place over one issue. And I liked it. So there's a bunch of homage art kind of in the original first few panels, which I like the artist's actual work more than just trying to pay homage to John Romita and the like, because it's tough to do when you're trying to, I don't want to say copy, because he's not trying to copy it, but I mean, he's trying to be similar to someone else's art. And it's going to be tough whenever you're, an actual really great artist on your own, and you're trying to emulate somebody who's as iconic as Ramita or somebody else. So, anywho, as for the story, yeah, this one was out there. It's very different. This is one of the ones that doesn't feature really any of our familiar Spider-Man cast.
This is like the rich Spider-Man.
Tony Stark Spider-Man, kind of?
No. Well, yeah.
Not the same way. Like, he's a lot more empathetic, especially with who is, I don't want to call her a villain, because she's not. I mean, the people get possessed by everyone, and essentially, so the story is Spider-Man trying to stop somebody, and along the way, his girlfriend, assistant, love interest, whatever you want to call her, another doctor, gets intertwined in this. Her daughter has been not mortally wounded, but she's essentially comatose and never going to move again. And then we sort of enter the villain, who is able to help, but does so by possessing the people. And that bad. I had to simplify this big time, because there's an awful lot of dialogue, and I think it works really well in the context of this trade, though, because it's so different from the others.
Right, yeah, absolutely it is. And it's an interesting story. It's just like, you kind of need a little bit more preamble to it, I think. You kind of need to know just a little bit more, even though it tells you from beginning to end of this story, like, this is what happened in the past, and this is what this doctor, the female doctor, the mother is like, oh, but you didn't care, you didn't this, and this is why I had to do this, and this is why our phone is making noise, and it shouldn't.
Usually that's my bit.
I was going to say, usually that's your bit.
Yeah, usually it's the Breaking Bad theme when somebody texts me. It's a good point, I should probably turn that off. Anywho.
You probably should.
Before it goes off, and then, anyway.
So, this is interesting.
I enjoyed it. I'm a little more cool on it than the others, just because I think these one-shots work a little better when they're able to kind of tell I don't want to know what to call it. It's still encapsulated really well. It's still a good single-issue story.
I would say it's...
But, I don't know.
I would kind of liken it to an almost... It's Spider-Man mythos it's a brand new Spider-Man mythos to those that haven't read it. To those that don't know the characters, this could be an interesting introduction to this Spider-Man's universe. We don't need to know if there's a Peter Parker, if there's a Gwen Stacy, if there's a Mary Jane Watson, if there's a Eddie Brock, or whatever. This dude, Aaron, has his own stuff going on. And then this thing takes a turn down Nightmare Fuel Lane, because Edge of Spider-Verse, I walked with a spider. I have no idea why this story was made.
I mean, I know why. It's still so this is one of the few appearances of Moreland himself.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I don't want to say showing the threat, because Patton is not the most fearsome Spider-Man in this. But, so anyway, this tells the story of, what if Spider-Man was a fucking sociopath?
Pretty much, yeah.
I could have done without, a lot of this. So you mentioned the Nightmare Fuel. Let's get into... The overall thing is just meant to be disturbing. I'm not a fan of this because a lot of it seems like being dark for the sake of being dark. So Patton just randomly tortures animals in general anyway, because Uncle Ted mentions it at one point. B, Uncle Ted is a merciless abuser and kind of a piece of shit. C, Patton's a jackhole, creepy guy anyway. And D, it all gets way worse when he gets bitten by a spider on a field trip with Sarah Jane and turns into sort of a spider thing.
This is like, what if 94 Spider-Man stayed the man Spider?
Or what if the JMS version, where he briefly became a spider before going into a cocoon, etc., was a psycho?
It's very creepy. It's very, it's very, I don't want to say Ted Bundy-ish, but it's, well, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's a cross between Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy. To me, it's very, this is something like I would see on some of the true crime shows that I would watch. Obviously not the spider monster part, but just the fact that Patton is a monster before the spider even bites him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's a line in here about being good is boring. Something about being the good guy is the boring part of life or something. I'm like, oh my god, where is this going? What is this sitting up in that last page with Sarah Jane?
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say either. The final issue includes...
Let me close it out. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
I wasn't either.
A lot of it, I understand and I can enjoy kind of horror comics or creepy comics, but if you're gonna do this, I'm not sure emulating Peter Parker's story, I know it's not the same one, etc., but it's not this. I don't feel like it works. I think there's some contexts that maybe Spider-Man, doesn't work in. Yeah, not a big fan. Anywho.
Issue number 5. Wow, this is the fastest Spider-Man episode we've ever done.
Well, it's the thing with these anthologies, right? There's only so much to kind of get into.
True, because
with each one.
The larger story, like we said, when we didn't end up doing Edge of Venomverse earlier this year, but we did Venomverse and Venomized. These are the one shots. These are supposedly this to me, Edge of Spider-Verse was, and it is. It's them all being brought together for what eventually is the story of Spider-Man.
Yeah, with the exception of ones that get killed.
Right.
Thankfully. Yeah, Weird Moreland's the hero in one of them. Anywho. The final one, it should be noted, so Jared Way, I would think most people know, is one of the members of My Chemical Romance. And so this tells the story of Penny Parker, who takes up the mantle of spy ///er. I don't know how to say it. I'm not cool. Anywho. Takes up the mantle of the spider robot thing, machine. And yeah, gets trained briefly by this universe's Matt Murdock again, so there's Daredevil. This one's a lot closer to Matt, but anyway, this is completely different from the others. So I mentioned it before. A. B. We get more of the other Spider-Men in this one, really, than the others. But I'm just talking about the early stuff. So, in a lot of ways, this is kind of a young. With the suit, it's more of an Iron Man sort of feeling of a hero. But she's still very young, still kind of finding her way. And I really like this version.
I do too.
So the Mysterio was really neat. That Mysterio is just sort of a deranged fan of Spider. And the way the technology works, and the way, I brought it up before because Jared Way is a musician, and the way music, despite this being a comic, gets kind of incorporated, and you can kind of feel it in certain sequences, is really neat.
Yeah, I love that end line, the last page, where Spider-Ham is like, that's really hardcore. Gates open, we gotta swing. Does that thing make a lot of noise? Yeah. I love that. I think that's great.
She is, this is really enjoyed this one. This one's just kind of fun. It gives us the most insight. Like, this is the closest to an actual prequel story about it, because we get an actual explanation of what's going on, that all of the different Spider-Verse characters, all the different Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider-Girls, Spider-Boys, Spider-Hams are being hunted and killed. So yeah, this is the only one that actually serves up an explanation, really. There's hints at it in the noir when Superior Spider-Man is speaking, but this one just lays it all out. And it works well. And this is another one that it's not necessarily Peter or our usual cast, but it still works. Penny is fun. She was a welcome and extremely surprising addition to the film. And she's a welcome and surprising addition to the comic book.
Yeah, I dug this. Between this and the Spider-Man Noir one, makes me want to start reading the actual
Watch the movie. You should also watch the movie, even though it has nothing to do with it.
I already have. I bought the thing.
Wasn't sure.
Yes, I've seen the movie. I know.
Alright, well anyway.
But no, very, very cool. Outside of Evil Spider Dude, 4 out of 5 of these things are cool.
As such, I'll give it 4 out of 5 overall. But yeah, same feeling that 4 of them work really well and are fun stories. And I think especially if you're a big fan of Spider-Man, you'll get a kick out of the references to a different universe than the other ones. But even if you're not, it's pretty easy to understand. Most of these characters are so iconic that it's not like you need an introduction to them to know they exist.
True. For me, I want to give the thing an overall bad grade, but I'm going to give it a 3.5. Because that villain Spider-Man, I almost didn't want to finish reading the story. That story made me want to put the book down and pick it up again. I'm glad I didn't.
It's a weird inclusion, because despite the fact that each of these varies pretty widely from each other in a variety of different ways and feelings, that sort of thing, it doesn't mesh at all with the others. But the others have elements of darkness or that sort of thing to them, but don't just go completely in that direction. And it overall feels weird, and it makes it more jarring, and really makes it feel kind of out of place.
Hi, I'm Terry Smith, the host of Music Talks, the podcast where I ask guests a simple but beguiling question. Choose a song from each decade of your life and tell me why these songs mean so much to you. Guests and listeners love this format, and if you want to find out why, then take a listen at musictalkspod.buzzsprout.com or use your favourite podcast app. Just search on Music Talks Terry Smith. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and talk to me, then send me a tweet at Music Talks Pod. I look forward to doing some music talking soon.
Everything that was supposed to happen at the end of this year will still happen, just not this year. Next decade, yay! Coming up next, we've got, which was already recorded, myself and Joe Reed talking about Superman Year 1, Number 2. So, spoilers ahead, folks. Anything else you want to bring up? Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe during your gap, I can fill in, do some solo shows, or maybe I'll argue with Sarah about comics. We'll see. Anyway.
I am at TFG Mike on Twitter. You can also find at Geekcast Radio and at the Pullback on Twitter, as always, geekcastradio.com. Where can people find you on Twitter and other places, sir?
Only on Twitter, at Nightbeat.
Go. Make your great escape into comics. Have a happy holidays, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. Whatever you say.
Happy Hanukkah.
I want to thank everybody that has listened this year. Yes, happy Hanukkah. Even though we are coming back to do 376.5 and 377, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who's listened, who's even found the show. March of next year will be our 7th anniversary. Continue to read and review comics. So I think we're going to close it out with some spider talk, and then make your great escape to comics and catch next week when we head to Superman's territory.
You're not going to make me sing the Spider-Man theme, are you?
Take it away.
No.
Come on.
No.
I triple dog dare you.
No.
Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Oh, come on.
Nope.
It's a Simpsons joke.
I know. Hey, is the movie on the network? The Disney Channel? I don't even know. Good question.
Don't you just love these random endings to podcasts?
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you stop recording for the sake of our listeners.
Of course, me. Stop recording. Come on now, I recorded.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullback, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.